Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on, man? Today, as every day, positive. Now, here's the thing. Here's the big question. SEC v. Ripple, is the end near? Not even sure if we're going to answer that, but you got to stay tuned. Sit through the entire video to find out if we answer that question. And the world economic transition into crypto, into digital asset is inbound, and don't let anybody tell you any different. What do you think of that, Chip?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
All right, man.
Let's jump right into it, Jeff. What do we have tonight? What's our top story? There's so many of them. We got to pick one. We got to run with something. What do you got?
The top story, man. There's so many things, so many video clips that we've got. But what about Mac Attack XRP posted earlier on Twitter? He put something up here. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick, and then we'll get into it in a minute. But XRP lawsuit, court schedules hearing date for SEC's plea against Hinman deposition. So that could be a really interesting place to start. We can go into this coin gate, and we can talk about that one. And I know we got some interesting videos. We got Senator Toomey, clip from him that we're going to get into. You've got some clips from Powell that we're going to get into. Man, there's a lot of good stuff today. But you know what I'd like to do before we dig into all that? I want to give a quick shout out to permission.io, right? Because permission.io is actually a sponsor right here of this show tonight. And if you guys aren't familiar with permission.io, I definitely recommend that you go check it out. It's super easy to do that. But you know, when you're out browsing the web, you see all these ads from Facebook, Google, Amazon, and all those other ads, and they're collecting your data, making money off you. Well, permission.io actually enables you to monetize your data and earn crypto, which is really cool. The sign up's easy. Chip, I've done it. I've got it. And you install the browser extension and you keep browsing. Every so often, Permission finds an ad. They pop it up and say, hey, do you want to watch this ad? You say yes. You watch the ad, and guess what, Chip? You get to watch, or you get to earn crypto while you're watching it, which is really cool, Chip. You know, I like it. And the Ask token, Ask, A-S-K, gets stored on a browser wallet, and you get to hang on to it. So you can hodl it, you can spend it, do all sorts of stuff. Permission.io. Check it out in the description. So, Chip, Hinman, court schedules, XRP.
There's a hearing tomorrow. So it's hearing tomorrow, I believe at 3 o'clock. And that's going to be to discuss what's going on with, they're trying to quash, I think is the official legal term. They're trying to quash the deposition tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see. I think it's at 3 o'clock. I'll see. I'll find and post it up here. Now, last time, I think there were 4,000 participants. I'm not sure what the actual number is, but you can guarantee that such a hot case, so much awareness about this case, so much interest in it, that everybody will be like, with bated breath, as they say, will be on that call. And if you're a little late, you'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. There's only 4,000 people out on here. You're 4,075. Sorry, Charlie. You don't get to participate. You know, and that happens. But, man, I almost feel like this is the part of the movie where it gets good. And, well, it's been getting good, but everybody's like, let's settle. Let's do this. Listen, the SEC's on its heels is the way I see it. You know, quite honestly, they're sort of pressed there. So you know what? Let them do their thing. Let's get through this. Let Ripple defend itself. You want to call it a security? Come at me. And I don't really see that happening, Jeff. I think really good things are in the future.
I agree. I have a question. What is a telephonic conference?
The same as every one of them. You're on the telephone. It's a telephone thing where you call in. That's it. All of them are telephonic. There's no Zooms. There's no Google Meets. There's no Microsoft Teams. There's no Slack. It's just simply one telephonic. Why, Jeff? Because that phone on your desk. Can you pick it up, please? It might be the SEC.
Sorry, you know what? Oh, hang on. It is. You know what?
Hello, this is the SEC. Is this Jeff?
It is. Hello.
We cannot figure out what we're doing. We need some advice on this case. Can you help?
Absolutely not.
All right. Hang that
Tune in.
phone up
Tune
then.
into On the Chain. What's going on here? Hello, operator.
Hello.
Operator. Hey, I gotta call them back. Let me see. Call them back. Operator. All right.
Yeah, that's about the size of it. So tomorrow that's going on,
Telephonic.
and yeah, 3:00. So you got to get in there a little bit early. You can't go too early, otherwise you don't get on. I think it's right around 15 minutes prior to the hearing, and I believe it's tomorrow. I will find it. Don't worry, I will find it. But it's been a
When
while
was the
since
last time you referred to it as telephonic? I can't get over that. Do you
Um,
walk around the office? Today we are going to have a telephonic conference.
I believe it was the 60s, Jeff, but I can't be sure. Maybe the
Oh,
50s.
God.
Who knows? 1950s. It's impossible to know for sure. I mean, it was sometime around then. I mean, who knows, really?
It was the last time
Telephonic.
they
What do
had
you
this.
say? There would be a
Yeah,
conference
see?
by phone. Yeah,
Yeah,
see, let's
see?
get some of those.
Yeah,
See,
some of
yeah,
those,
call them
see?
up. See, yeah, that's what they look like. See,
Oh my God. I got an
all the
email from
broads.
somebody
See,
today, and in their signature, it said cell
yeah.
phone facsimile. And I was looking at
What?
this, and I'm like, what in the world is a facsimile?
Is it
And
from
the
a
phone
bank?
number, it was not from a bank, but they wanted me to send it via facsimile.
Well, I
I'm
hate
trying
to
to
tell
break
you,
it to them.
the space that
Go
I
ahead.
work in, there's certain things have to be sent to a bank, and they have to only be sent by facsimile. I kid you not. It's amazing that in 2021, like the technology was pretty much dead in 1996, but no, not for the banks. You think Swift's a bad idea? Just wait. I mean, and they're like, 2022, we're gonna all be compliant, and we got an advanced messaging system. Whoopee. It was derived. It was basically sort of dreamt up, and I think it was 2004, 2005, and we're implementing it in 2021, 22. Already
Does
seems
sound
like
like
we're
the
sort of
present.
we're already behind the 8 ball on that one, Jeff.
Only a couple years.
Yeah,
So
it already.
works.
Yeah, okay, I found it because Jimmy Filan, who always has he always has the information. He's always the first source you want to check because he's got it right there. So tomorrow, I was right. Court schedules telephone conference. Okay, not telephonic, Jeff. That's the court. Telephone
I like
conference
that.
for July 15th, 3 p.m. Discuss the SEC's motion to quash the deposition of William Hinman. Court will provide a dial information for the public in advance of the conference. I'm waiting, So they are going to do that. That's awesome.
Very cool. I like that. I like quash the deposition. I'd prefer to use squash.
I know. I always want to say squash, but it's quash. The legal term is quash it. It's like, remember, you want to play squash. Everything's squash, right? Squish, squash, something like that.
Squish, squash. Oh yeah, there was a whole thing, right?
Splish, splash. I was taking a bath.
Splish, splash. Was it squish, squash?
Squish, squash. I was
Squish, squash. I was walking in my flip flops.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's all kind of funny like that. Yeah, like that. See,
Docs Gambling didn't even know the fact still existed.
Oh yeah, they do, Docs.
As
a matter of fact, there's certain documents that only can be sent by fax to the bank. This is mind blowing. And the funny thing is, what we use. There's like a system you can subscribe to, a service that you basically scan a doc or upload it, and then it faxes it over. So you use a new system to send something via legacy system over voice over IP. Go figure, right?
Nice.
Can't send it to a Dropbox email or some sort of a.
There we go. Squish, squash, applesauce. There you go.
How's it go? Squish, squash, applesauce. See?
There you go.
I'll have some pork chops and applesauce. Now, if you remember that famous Brady Bunch episode where Bobby got a little nutty and he goes, "What's for dinner, Sally? What's for dinner, Alice? Pork chops and applesauce." See? So that took off in our family household since we were like little uns, and my dad will still call me up sometimes and go, "What's for dinner, she? Pork chops and applesauce?" And I'll be like, "Holy cow, that was when was that, the 70s?" And we watched it on reruns. So
holy cow.
Holy cannoli. You can always imagine at some point we're gonna go ahead, but let's
Man, Moneybags is talking about open wire circuits and 10-party lines. That was right around the time that this was introduced. This thing right here is what did away with the open wire circuit. This little gem right here, this beauty right here. This is like modern tech right here.
Well, the party lines, if you guys don't know, if you're not, you're gonna think this is funny, but this is a good one, Moneybags. it used to be that you would have service, right? But you would split it with 10 other parties. So you might pick up the phone and there's somebody on there and be like, oh, I'm sorry. Or you could listen in and breathe heavily on there, but somebody else would be talking. It was a party line. So multiple people could do it, but I guess it was a discount in the fee or whatever. I don't think they had enough lines in certain places. So as it was expanding, and a great movie, Doris Day, one of the greatest movies ever. I think it was 1960, 61. Which I love these old movies because they're just phenomenal. But it's called Pillow Talk, and that whole sort of theme sort of derived around Moneybags. Let me know if you remember this, but around a party line. So there you go. Back in the day, you know, as they say.
Nice.
So Jeff, we talk often about, you know, how, you know, we talk about solutions to problems, right? XRP, XRPL, Ripple, creating
a real solution to a real problem.
A real solution. A lot of other sort of in the same vein, maybe different solutions, but the central banks, now you knew that once they woke up, like somebody like hit them upside the head, they'd be like, whoa. Yeah, okay, cryptocurrency is a threat. They're starting to wake. It's like the sleeping giants are starting to wake up and they're in panic mode, sheer panic mode. And if you want to see what that looks like, it looks like none other than what Chairman Powell is selling. Yeah. Because they're like, oh, no, we don't need cryptocurrency. No, we don't need gold. No, we don't need Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to die. Bitcoin's not good. It's not really a store of value. And so when the Fed comes out and tells you that, you can be very sure. And this is happening in every country. We're using the Fed, but it's every country.
It's a global phenomenon. And they're actually trying to create a problem for the solution. The solution that was solving a problem, they're trying to create another problem to replace the positive solution that is brought forth by the crypto space. What do you think?
That's a really well put way to look at this, because you're right. They're going, let's pretend fiat currency wasn't so hot, but then let's create a digital version of the fiat currency and we'll just call it digital and better and super and everything else. And it's like,
it'd be great.
Now, don't you think if you're a central bank, you wouldn't emphasize the very first word of a centralized, a CBDC, centralized bank? I mean, those two words don't seem to sort of jive with blockchain and, decentralization, because as we all know here, let's face it, decentralization is freedom, and anything that goes outside of that always equals control.
Yep. And a quick shout out to the people down in Cuba that need help.
That's right. And you know what they're not protesting, Jeff? They're not protesting about healthcare. They're not protesting because they didn't get the vaccine. They're screaming freedom. And some of the bootleg video, if you've seen any of it, people getting shot, people going to hospitals, not letting family members, not admitting them. It's pretty rough, man. I got to say, it's pretty rough. And I don't know if you saw the U.S. put a mandate out saying that any U.S. Or any Cuban citizens that make it to the U.S. will be turned back. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
that is a horrible policy.
Yeah, it's insane.
And they shut
down. What did they shut down today? Or was that yesterday? It wasn't I-95, but they shut down.
It was down in Miami.
Oh yeah, I guess it was part of I-95. I-95 and some others, they shut it down completely, protesting. Man.
Well, the thing about it is they feel like they're alone, because everybody's turning their back on Cuba, and it's like you've got people who are dying over there, and it's like they need help, and who's going to help them? Especially like I said, having friends that are of Cuban descent or had parents that came over with the Muriel boat lift. It's like it's heartbreaking, man, to know so many, because down here in Miami there's a very strong community of Cuban people and Cuban descendants, and they care about what happens. And that's what they're sitting here protesting, and they're trying to get some help. Nothing's happening. So it's dire straits for Cubanos, and we got to get some help.
They need some XRP. They need some Bitcoin. They need to get their money.
I don't know if we can get it down to them though, Jeff. That's the whole thing.
I don't think we could. Yeah,
it's being boycotted, right? Hey, let's segue into Chairman Powell. So we got two clips here, but let's go into them. Let's dissect them, because it's kind of ties into the whole narrative that Jeff and I have been kind of talking about. Let's throw the first one up here.
You wouldn't need stablecoins. You wouldn't need cryptocurrencies if you had a digital U.S. currency. I think that's one of the stronger arguments in its favor. You wouldn't need stablecoins. You wouldn't need cryptocurrencies if you had a digital U.S. currency. I think that's one of the stronger arguments in its favor.
It's one of the stronger arguments. Well, it's one of the stronger arguments if you're a centralized, sort of a Federal Reserve or centralized banker, yeah, that's probably, you wouldn't need it. Yeah, maybe so, but we do have it. So yes, we do need it. So, this is kind of, what do you think about this? Seems a little preposterous to me.
Yeah, play it again.
It's fast, Jeff. I don't know if the
I
video
know
gets sped up.
It went so fast.
You wouldn't need stable coins. You wouldn't need cryptocurrencies if you had a digital U.S. currency. I think that's one of the stronger arguments in its favor.
Man, he's trying to speak so fast so people don't understand exactly what he's saying, so they don't catch on. That's what it is. No, I mean, it's crazy, right? I mean, the whole idea of the digital, so he's advocating now for the digital dollar. It wasn't that long ago that he was advocating not for the digital dollar.
Oh,
now he's
right.
saying, no, it's the greatest thing ever. You wouldn't need cryptocurrency. He understands why people want the cryptocurrency, but he's kind of missing some of the point, the freedom aspect of it, the decentralization, the change, and the fleeing from the brick and mortar structure to an extent. Banking, infrastructure, all that is going to continue to exist, but it's also a wrenching of the power from centralized to somewhat to the people. There's always going to be a central element to a chip. I don't believe it's going to be totally decentralized, because then the countries lose their sovereignty. But there's got to be a component. Let the country have their digital currency, but it won't do away with the cryptocurrency space. I think it'll complement. They'll be complementary.
No, I think you're absolutely right. So I love Simone Robertson's free Haiti. And I'm about to go on a little bit of a tear here because, first of all, Haiti is one of the most disrespected countries in the entire world. Okay. I mean, it's not that they've had 500-600 years of bad luck, but what's happened, first of all, they took out the president. This was a hit job. And you want to know why? If you look at Tanzania, they didn't want a certain thing happening there that looked like this. They didn't want that. I can't say it, but they did not want this. Also, same thing in Haiti, did not want it. And you start seeing these leaders who said, buck the system, the global elites, and said, don't want it. And they took them out. So what surfaces? Well, got to be very careful in how I language this, but it looks like they were former informants with a certain 3-letter agency, and it looks like a very strong hit. So what did they just announce yesterday? I believe it was that they're going to be bringing these in droves. It's going to start in 2 weeks. So if that isn't coordination, if that isn't enough, if that doesn't wake you up about what's up, I don't know what will. So I want to thank you. Thanks, Simone, for bringing that up, because what's going on down there is just shameful. And there's been a lot of corruption. Yes.
A long time.
But when you, even when a certain political group tried to help send all the money down there, none of that money made it down there, man. It was all pilfered and put in pockets. And you know what they do go down to the island for? They go down there and they mine, and they illegally bring stuff out of there. Nobody in the island is getting compensated. So that's another one. You think it's just a small nation, they can take advantage of it. And yet, who stands up? Who should stand up? The United States should stand up for this kind of corruption. And there's a blind eye going on right now, and it's really disgusting. Sorry, I had to go on a little bit of a political rant.
Yeah, it's another country, Chip. It's important. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I say when an island nation needs help, and they're not too far away from the mainland here, and they need help, and they're taken advantage of, and they go down there, and there's too many things I can't say. The things that I can't say, but trafficking, all kinds of stuff, bad things that are happening, to be taken advantage of a nation that was always trying to get on its feet is just, it's bothersome, man. It's really disgusting. And it really needs,
I'll tell you, yeah, Jim, my friends run a nonprofit that sends doctors, nurses, and other people down into Haiti, not just to provide the medical care, but to actually go and teach the medical professionals down in Haiti and bring. So a lot of times you see charitable groups, nonprofits, they'll go and they'll bring all the tech with them. And then when they're done, they take all the tech back with them. So in this scenario, they're bringing the tech there and they're teaching the personnel how to use the tech, and they leave the tech. And it's so important to have that type of orchestration. And they're very, very diligent in the facilities that they work with, because there's a lot of corruption there. And many times when you bring things there, it disappears. So in this scenario, they're very adamant. We're going to work with you guys and we're going to come back. And one of the things they did, they wired an entire hospital, rewired everything for high speed communication internal in the hospital. They put all sorts of wireless components in there. It was amazing it was all donated, and it's unbelievable. They go down there pretty often.
Well,
So it's important.
But Jeff, you bring up Cuba, you bring up Haiti. Look, if who's going to stand up for them? That's the thing that gets me. It's like, if it's not going to be somebody like the U.S., who's going to stand up and get and take a position of hate?
Unfortunately,
and unfortunately nobody. It's pretty sad. I don't see any other nations standing up. And when I see if any Cuban dissidents end up hitting the shores of the U.S., send them back. Are you kidding me? They're yelling freedom. They're standing up.
Real freedom.
They're getting shot down in the streets, right? They're disappearing. They get arrested. They just disappear. Nobody knows where they are. Family members can't reach them. And again, it's not too dissimilar to what's happened in Haiti. And smaller nations, I feel like they need a little bit better protection. They need a little bit more help. And everybody complains and whines about this and that in this country. But you know what? Stuff in our own backyard, we ought to be looking out a little bit closer. And, you kind of extend your wing, you sort of take them under your wing. Meanwhile, we're interested in all kinds of stuff that doesn't matter, all kinds of nuttiness, all noise. And are we helping anybody? What are we doing? How do we make it a better day for somebody else? No.
Crypto.
So anyway,
crypto.
There's a little bit of crypto is the solution. Decentralization is the solution. Blockchain is the solution. And we will get there. But anyway, let's throw this. Sorry, we had to go on a little bit of rant. That happens sometimes. You guys know how that works on the show. But I wanted to throw this up. And it's interactive, so you guys generate the show along with us. But I want to put the second clip up, Jeff. I want to get your thoughts on what McHenry's asking him and how he's answering this. So we'll stop it once we go on. It's not too long of a clip, but let's jump into this.
All right.
Certainly advantages to a central bank digital currency or a faster payment system, but there's certainly risks. That's the case, right? This is not a riskless proposition. It's a pretty bold proposition for the Federal Reserve, is it not?
Yes, and we'll lay out the possible potential benefits. We'll put those out on paper, and also, the potential risks that are undertaken. And I think those have been written up in many forums around the world, and I think both are real. And it really depends. A lot depends on the U.S. institutional context and on why we would need a central bank digital currency and how you weigh those costs and benefits. So that's really the nature of the exercise.
And so stable coins certainly have some advantages in terms of a faster payment system and have some of the attributes of CBDC. But there are some risks with stable coins right now. Are there not? Are there concerns you have about stable coins?
Yeah, I think the issue, stable coins are a lot like money market funds or bank deposits or a narrow bank, depending on the terms of them, that kind of thing, but without the regulation. And I think we have a tradition in this country where the public's money is held in what is supposed to be a very safe asset. We have a pretty strong regulatory framework around bank deposits, for example, or money market funds. That doesn't exist really for stablecoins. And if they're going to be a significant part of the payments universe, which we don't think crypto assets will be, but stablecoins might be, then we need an appropriate regulatory framework, which frankly we don't have.
Interesting. Chip, we listened to the whole thing. Forget about everything. It was really the end. Just that end segment is all we have to play. It tells you everything. I mean, he's it's interesting. We're talking about you go digital. It's not without its risk, but he's focusing on stable coins. Then he's basically going to the centralized digital fiat. And then he says again, well, we're not going to need cryptocurrency. We don't need it. But he's
payments.
The payments and everything. It's almost like the first time that they've acknowledged that it's a better technology, that it's the technology, but yet they think that they can come out with an even better technology to do away with all that. But they're missing so much of what makes the digital asset space, Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, what have you, what has made it great in the past, what makes it all great now as it continues to develop. And it bakes in the decentralized framework. It allows all of these other instruments and vehicles to help people stake and make money and, pay out, quote unquote dividend, interest payments beyond anything that a centralized bank has ever done. And then you take it even a step further when you get into the smart contract and the significance of all of this, for business and people in general. I think they're missing it. They're just focused on payments. We're going to pay and pay and pay, and it's just a digitized version of fiat. I mean, what do you think, Chip? Is that off base? What else?
No. I want to take what you're saying, because I believe exactly what you're saying, but I also want to add to it. You know what the biggest risk of a CBDC is? It's tied to fiat. Okay, that's the biggest risk, is its value. It doesn't have the opportunity. If it rises and falls with fiat, which we know is losing value daily. I don't care what CBDC, which country you're going to mint it in, or some form of a digital dollar or digital yuan. It's the same garbage. It's all centralized bankers' coins. So when we look at it like in that regard, the biggest risk is it's tied to fiat. It's not tied to something like gold, backed by gold, silver, platinum, something that has value and has endured the test of time. Fiat traditionally at some point loses value over time, and so that's their biggest risk. But I do feel, and one of the things I like about that interview, I do feel like McHenry was baiting him a little bit, kept going back to the risk. There is a risk with CBDCs, right? There is a risk with CBDCs. Like he was kind of like just like throwing it in his face to kind of like sort of like pull an answer out of him, right? He never addressed that, but I thought that was actually pretty well done.
I like the feedback here from K HUD. Said, listen, we're highly educated and we need to protect you because, we need to protect you because you can't take care of yourself. You can't take care of yourself financially. So we got to take care of you because we know better than you, and blah, 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 blah. And that's right. Basically all it is, just a lot of noise. It's unbelievable how much noise there is. Hey, oh, hang on. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, it's gone. It was
Ireland
here.
Is rising, finally. Dublin
There you
tonight.
go. That's what I was finding. I was looking for that.
Darcy,
Ireland,
nice.
finally, Ireland also putting their foot down on the G20 and saying, no, the only country to stand up at this point, I think Estonia as well, to say, no, we don't agree with a flat corporate global tax.
No.
Ireland finally took a stand. I was shocked to see that.
But I don't necessarily know if I'm shocked, but because I got to look at look at economically, socioeconomically, what's happened with Ireland. I mean, Ireland was at a disadvantage until they said, hey, let's lower the tax base. And all of a sudden they started, getting giant companies like Google was moving there, Amazon, Apple, everybody was moving in there because of the tax haven, right? Because it was lowered taxes. And they started, and what happened is Ireland became a haven, right? A global sort of and it wasn't, in the UK, it wasn't Wales, it wasn't, Scotland, it was Ireland, the part of the UK that attracted them. And what they did was they lowered the taxes, they made it friendly, they said, come on over. So yeah, that's really good to hear.
About time. I was so happy. And the reason why I said I couldn't believe it is because they've been so kind of complacent lately. And, the stuff that had been going on over there with all these things over the past year seemed extremely over the top. And now finally, we're starting to see something turn. I think that's good. I think that, we're going to see some positives come out of there, Chip. Really good stuff. So, hey, I wanted to share this one. I think this is pretty spot on. This was, let me hang on. So this was shared by the Wolf of Wall Street, not just the Wolf of Wall Street, but the Wolf of All. This is Senator Toomey. Senator Toomey from Pennsylvania states that cryptocurrencies are not securities and that the SEC may not have jurisdiction. And so it's interesting because we're talking about what Jerome Powell is saying from the Fed, and they're pushing this narrative of the CBDC. So check this out. Here we go. Let's listen to this real quick.
It's not at all clear to me that the SEC has a role in regulating cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies are not securities, and the SEC regulates securities. So that's not at all clear to me that follows. And I'll be watching very, very closely to see what the SEC does.
I love that, dude. That might be the clip of the year. You know what? He says so nonchalantly, they're not securities. I'm not really sure what the SEC is doing being involved in any of this stuff because they're not securities. And he makes it well known. And that is none other than, Pat Toomey, senator out of the great state of Pennsylvania, Republican. There you go. Patrick McHenry, Republican. Just saying. So,
we got Darren Soto.
But they're in Soto's
Orlando.
Democrat. Yeah, he's our we'll call him our boy, the OTC boy. We got to get him on here, man. We got to get him on here. We want to extol the virtues of this great token taxonomy. He's, and listen, it's not about who they are on what side of the aisle. It's about, look, what are they putting forth? Let's talk. It's always an arena of ideas. What kind of ideas are we working with? So the idea that ended up getting passed is let's have a conversation to have a conversation. What's that look like? Well, it looks like us passing a bill to form a committee. And then what do you do? And then we get together and talk. And then what do we do? If you can't quantify at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of BS. If you do not have a clear-cut path on what you're going to produce, okay, great. What are our goals? What are we going to produce out of this? And we're going to go together and we're going to produce legislation that we're going to look at passing. Okay, that's better than having a conversation, which is a lot of what this silliness is, Jeff. It's a lot of right there, and that's what they're yelling. I need right there, freedom. Right. William Wallace, the famous GIF. I see this animated GIF a lot when he's on the horse, full paint, yelling freedom. That's awesome. The one that I'm seeing a lot around Twitter, man.
Nice. And then there's Ray Run. Did you know he's from the government? He's here to help everybody. So
well, that was Ronald Reagan said, what is it? The 7 most terrifying words in the English language where I'm from the government. I'm here to help. That was like Ronald Reagan sort of a statement. That's great, man. Love that. And that's what I loved about Ronald Reagan was he could take the piss out of himself and everybody else. He was good natured. Anybody that does self-deprecating humor is always pretty interesting, to me. A lot of people can do it.
That's right.
Ray Run says Toomey is an idiot. Well, let's just face it. Everyone can have their day. Yes, he is. Yes, that is true. There's no doubt about that. Well, I like to call them sunshine patriots. When the sun's shining, everything's great. Going gets a little rough, and they scatter like rats. Better known as rhinos. Just saying. But when they say something worthwhile, yeah, we'll play it here. So.
Nice.
Right there, Darcy's right. We built America on the backs of the Irish. There's no doubt about that. By the way, Jeff, I don't know if you knew this, but my ancestry goes back to Ireland. Yeah. My mom's name, I'm not going to give it, but it's an Irish last name. And it goes back there. And that was the potato famine that got them looking elsewhere. And that's why they ended up in the U.S. But just
you got the Italian, you got the Irish.
And Hungarian, yeah, all my mutt.
And Hungarian.
And Hungarian, yeah. My dad's 50% Hungarian, so there you go. It's like it's all a big a big fun thing there. And right there, Voice Island says we built the pyramids. Okay. Yeah, maybe. Okay, sure. Why not? Yeah, that's right, Apex. That's a good one. Just because you don't like someone doesn't mean you can't give credit when they're right. That's what adults do. Yeah, but also adults like to criticize, and I'm okay with that too. I'm okay with both sides of the coin. I'm okay with calling somebody out for who they are. But you're right. Once in a while, you got to give them credit. And I do that, I don't care what side of the aisle they're on. But if you do something, and I happen to agree with it, Jeff does, we'll say like, hey, kudos, Or we'll tell you, you're an idiot. And that's what adults do.
Chip, I've been so sick, man. I've been so sick of all this talk about the New Deal back in the day and the Green New Deal. Been so fed up with all the nonsense. And so I was so happy when I saw this article, Bitcoin and Orange New Deal.
Yay!
The Orange New Deal. So how great to come up with this. It's awesome. What would it look like if governments were to embrace and support the Bitcoin network? So this whole article is about governments embracing Bitcoin. And you look at El Salvador, you look at Argentina, you look at what Paraguay might do, but embracing the Bitcoin. And I thought it was really interesting because here it says, so, going to all that, we propose an Orange New Deal. Bitcoin is hope. I got to get your feedback on this in a minute, but it can be an engine of prosperity and justice. But to do that work, it needs infrastructure, not roads or power lines, but Lightning Network nodes and channels, education, wallets, and sustainable mining that can all be brought up by what? Government. What are your thoughts? Is this legit? The Orange New Deal. Come on.
Well,
the Orange
it started
New Deal.
out it started out interesting, right? It's like, it started out very positive, and I started getting a little wonky towards the end. It's like, started out like a little bit like hopeful. Yeah, it's the, pump it up. Yeah, the new orange green. Then it started kind of like teetering at the end and sort of like going downhill. But it started out promising. It had a lot of promise at the beginning. That's what I'll say. My thought. Yeah. But I love the title. It is really great working title, though.
It's cool, right? The Orange New Deal. But then they start out here. What do you think of this? Many Bitcoiners are libertarians or even anarcho-capitalists.
Maybe so.
These tend to think that government should be small, weak, or not exist at all. They don't care for the New Deal. If you're of that mind, you likely won't agree with what we suggest here and should instead pass this essay on to your big government friends. Do you think that this idea is about that?
That's not at all, but can you overgeneralize anymore? These people tend to think this way. And you know what they normally say? They get up in the morning, you know what they have? They don't drink Coke, they drink Pepsi. You know why? Because they tend to be anarchists. It's like there's a lot of assumptions going on there, Jeff. It's like they tend to do this, they tend to be that. It's like those straw man arguments. They say this, they say that, and they did this, and who are they? It's like, you have any kind of data behind that? No.
Nothing.
No,
it's just
no,
nothing but Chip, they also believe that government should invest in public goods, or in meaning things that are good for the people, right? So the argument has two steps. Government should invest in public goods, and Bitcoin is one such good.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight, Jeff. What they're saying here is they want the government to invest in Bitcoin. Is that the sort of is that the proposal here?
That's basically the proposal, because they're saying it's simple. Bitcoin, like clean water, good roads, or solid power grid, is for anyone. Which is, you could say yes, that's true, right? You can.
What's the government have to do with it? Why should the government invest? Because it's the New Deal, it's the Green New Deal,
it's the Orange New Deal,
FDR New Deal.
But for it to truly make good on this inclusive promise, it needs infrastructure. You're right. Governments can help accelerate construction of that infrastructure and so create new opportunities for prosperity and financial inclusion. Now, I think I was into this idea like El Salvador, embrace it because your economy is kind of falling apart and your currency's in shambles. So you need to embrace something that's even, it's going to be stable. But Chip, right here, does the government, by embracing Bitcoin, help create new opportunities for prosperity and financial inclusion, or does it create less opportunities for new prosperity and financial exclusion, not financial inclusion? Right now, it's private. It's creating financial inclusion. If you governmentize everything, if that's a word, does it create opportunities for prosperity, or the opposite? What are your thoughts?
Opposite. That's the whole reason of decentralization. Decentralization takes out those centralized controlling bodies. I mean, this is a really thank you for pulling this off. This is comical. Who wrote this? And were they actually serious? And how many drinks? I want to know how many tequila shots they had before this, because this is bizarro land. I mean, I don't know where you found this one, but this is certainly something fun to laugh at.
But you got to focus on the idea of a public good.
Look at this, Jeff. Voice Ireland says it'd be funny if Bitcoin went to $5. Imagine Michael Saylor's face.
Oh, that would not be funny for us.
No, I don't think that'd be. I don't think we'd be laughing about it. But
all right. So here's the public good. It has three parts. It has good, what does that say? Rivalrous, and non-excludable. Public goods are good. Using them brings some benefit. Your use of non-frivolous good doesn't reduce its usefulness to someone else. Now check this out, right?
What the hell is
now,
this?
Who can like, you could now compare, who could understand this? Do you know who who it is? You know Yngwie Malmsteen, right? You know Yngwie, right?
Amazing guitar player.
Amazing guitarist, right? So here you can enjoy the wide violin-like vibrato as heard in an Yngwie Malmsteen concert, for example, without diminishing the enjoyment of the metalhead next to you. So
dude, what is going on?
Does this help us understand?
No, it's just all over the place. Why are you bringing Yngwie Malmsteen into this whole thing, man? He didn't do anything. He's just hanging out, enjoying his music.
It's awesome.
This is you know what I'm getting out of this? It's good. It's good.
It's good.
Government is good. Cryptocurrency
is good. Crypto's good. Government's good, and it can be. You put crypto together with government, and it's even gooder.
This is a clown show,
gooder.
Jeff.
You get complete
clown
good.
show of an
you
article.
Get double
My
the
God,
good. It's gooder. Let's just call it gooder.
Where did she find it? What pub is this in? What publication is this in?
It's in Bitcoin Magazine. What do you expect?
Oh, I thought it was Clown Show. Sorry.
A good is non-excludable to the extent that it's very costly to prevent non-paying consumers from accessing. A flourishing mangrove forest has all sorts of benefits from nearby ecosystems. So now we're going to compare Bitcoin and government involvement in Bitcoin to the flourishing mangrove of the forest because of the ecosystems. I don't know. How about local fisheries? Man, I saw that. I had to bring it in, man. The new orange deal. That's the greatest thing ever. The new orange deal.
Hans Loaded said, this is what gets him up on Saturday mornings without you, Chip. That's awesome. I'm sorry, man. That article is a comical clown show right there. Well, it's usually I'm doing stuff on the weekend and everything else. It's like I did it like 2 weeks ago, and I enjoyed it, but it's just not my time slot, man. I'm more of a vampire, kind of a late night dude. And if I get up early, it's usually to do stuff. Oh no, please, Jeff. Don't no.
The Bitcoin network is a public good. It keeps going on and on.
It gets gooder. That's gotta be one of the most. I almost thought it wasn't real. It's like one of the more comical items we've had on the show. Holy cow, that is nasty stuff, right there, man.
Oh my god, it's great. It's so profound. It is so profound.
Profound.
And Kay Hud says the Orange New Deal. That's going to be Miami's new slogan.
Now that makes more sense to me. The Orange New Deal, and it's all about crypto, but it has nothing to do with good government, Bitcoin. I was like, good. Jeff, that article is so disconnected and poorly written. My God, oh man.
For the public good, we want regulatory clarity and have the government kind of step aside and allow innovation to flourish. How about that? Then you can see great opportunity, financial inclusion. That's why right now with the digital asset, and what this person has missed, the rise of digital assets, the rise of Bitcoin has brought financial inclusion to people all over the world. It's amazing. It's just unbelievable, right? All over the world, except for, man.
Well,
hey, go ahead.
Let me put something. This is a quick one, a quick shout. This is Brad Garlinghouse the other day. This is on the 13th. And
one moon, one flare, Alex 589.
One flare. Well, you know when flare is, Alex. Come on, man. It's coming soon.
Oh, you know what?
Whoa. Whoa. Hit the wow button for that. Appreciate that. Nice. I like that, Jeff. Nice. That's what you get, man. Let's get the wow button. Wowzy wow. So this is the other day here. Thank you for that, Alex. So Garlinghouse tweeted this out. He said, we had our quarterly all hands today. And that's usually say all hands on deck. That means everybody gathers together. Feeling inspired by the team and proud of Ripple's momentum as we head into H2. Headquarters 2? I don't know. I use like a Q2, Q3. What do you think? I don't know what that means. H2. What's H2? H2O?
I don't know. It's to have an H2.
Is it an H2 like headquarters 2? It would be HQ2. I don't know.
Oh, you have the Hummer. You have the H1, the H2, and the H3.
There you go.
So they're going into the H2. That's awesome.
That might be 100. Oh, okay. 100 dripplers dialed in globally, and some were even able to join in person via our San Francisco, London, and Iceland offices for the first time since 2020. And there they all are. Hello, everybody.
Wow,
hello.
that's so awesome. How did they do that through Zoom?
They did it through. I think they did it through Zoom. I don't know if it was Zoom exactly. It was a. Well, some dialed in. So they say dialed in. He didn't say telephonically, Jeff. He didn't say.
They should have done it telephonically. It would have been so much cooler.
I'm guessing it was something to do with video.
Zoomophonically.
Who's this back here on the couch right here? He's like, yeah, that's up, man.
That's David Schwartz.
Okay, there you go. David Schwartz right there. It's like I've had enough of you ripplers, you knuckleheads. Anyway, I always thought we always should check in. We get some word from what's going on at Ripple and Ripple Land.
Oh wait, where is it? H2 is the second half.
Okay, I've never heard that before. I usually hear it in Q3.
Half 2, second half.
All right,
I've never used that before either.
I've never seen that. Sense. I've never heard it. That does make sense.
Oh man, I'm trying to find something here. Hey, didn't somebody make a song?
What song? Oh yeah, let me post that up there. So I wish Sirdown was here because Hans Loaded did a remix.
Here? Oh, I thought he was here.
I have it. Well, Sirdown's not here, but we're gonna play without him because we usually play it but he did a little bit of enhancement. Now, the only thing I'm worried about, it might be a little too loud. So guys, just be careful about the volume here. Lower your volume a little bit because we're going to play it, but it's our normal Surge on video, but it's been enhanced by Hans Loaded, and I think it's pretty good. Here we go. Just remember to lower your headphones. Give us another version of this, but lower levels. So I thought that was pretty good, but I think the levels are a little high. So Hans, if you can lower that just I don't know, 200%. No, just like bring the levels down so we can play them without blowing people's ear. But nice work on that. That was a nice work, and I know I've listened to some of your tunes, and they're pretty good. I think you're better than you think you are. He's like always. You listen to his music, and he's like, I don't think this is very good. I'm like, it's good, man. Just put it out there. Artists don't ever judge your own work behind the scenes. You never judge it in front of other people or talk about it because their interpretation is different from your interpretation. You think you have a good side in a photo and everybody else just sees you and they don't care. So it's kind of those things, right, Jeff?
Exactly.
Yeah. I go like, people are like, oh no, I got to be taken for this side. Jeff, this is my good side. You're like, no. Jeff's like, no, this is my good side.
Do the other side.
Because you only see yourself in like a mirror. So you think you have a good side or in a photo. Meanwhile, we see you 3D and we don't care. We don't care. You don't have a good side. So give it up. So don't complain about it. Rob McDermott's in the house. What's up, Rob? Good to see you.
Oh, here we go. I finally found
Apex OG's in the house, of course. Good OG's in here. Ani's in the house. I love seeing the OGs
here. We go.
Hans.
Hey, I don't know.
Don't put a limiter on the master. Yeah. Just go ahead. All we need to do is pot that down a little bit. Just get in the safe level, and we'll be good. But give it to us again, man. We'll put it in here, and we got a new tune. Thank you for doing that, man.
Chip, check this out. I've got a. Dude, that was. Is that you? That was our H2 back in. That was 2006.
Wow.
I've got a whole series of them. 2006, 2008, 2009.
Jeff, where's the one with you with long hair? I'm still waiting for that picture of you with the long hair. I want to see that one.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're holding out on me, man. I knew you used to have I knew you were like a long-haired hippie freak. I know I was. I'm on my way again. So
dude, if I could find it, I'd put it up. I'll put it up if it's findable.
No, it is findable, dude. We've been talking about this for months, if not years. I want to see it, man. I want to see the do.
Yeah.
I mean, what's going on in the world? I mean, another thing, I'm watching a lot of stuff come out of South Africa. Man, what is going on in the world today? It's getting crazy stuff. Connie, thank you for that reminder. Connie, thank you very much. Please hit the like, the subscribe, the notification bell, and sweet butterflies will be at your beck and call. No, I don't know. It's just a nice butterfly she puts on there. But for real though, I mean, one of the things that's nice.
That was another one.
Where's this at?
This is in Daytona.
Oh, Daytona. That's when I love Daytona. You can drive on the beach there.
Oh,
by the way, please like, subscribe, click that notification bell. Appreciate it.
That was back in the good days before the U.S. government decided to take over General Motors and kill the Hummer.
Yeah, they did.
And that was such a letdown. Where we had a good ride for a little bit and then they killed it. That was it.
Made a lot of good decisions and a lot of bad decisions. What are you gonna do?
A lot of bad decisions.
Yeah.
Man, oh man. What else? Did the Orange New Deal already? So I did have something else here. Let me see if I can kill this here. Get rid of that. Here we go. How about the UAE? I know we've talked about it, but this one. So the UAE is now going beyond just. Let me see if I can. I got to share my screen again. Wait.
If you tell us I have it.
So the UAE unveils plans to launch digital currency. So initially they were just talking about the trial, but now they're actually getting in there. Look at this. As part of their 2023 to 2026 strategy to become one of the world's top 10 central banks. So they want to launch their CBDC along with many others. Now, the one thing that, check this out, it's going to be the CBUAE, the central bank of, I think that's what they're going to call it. Maybe. But that's what the acronym is.
Right off your tongue, Jeff.
But that's the acronym for the bank. I don't know if that's what they're going to call their asset, but it's kind of cool, because the UAE has really shown themselves over the years to be a leader in the business space, in the banking space. They moved away from oil, and they really started to develop, their identification in the world, and to bring about this and to say, hey, we want to be a leader. The one thing that we see with this is that when a country decides they want to be a leader in the digital space, they can do it now with this type of asset. The question is, Chip, is it going to be a digital representation of fiat, or are they going to try to back it on some blockchain or do something interesting? That's the question.
The first problem is centralized. Centralized bankers are running scared. They're hitting the panic button, and it's all the same. It's a different story, a different flavor, carved out of the same garbage. It's the same garbage. And look, they're going to fight. We're going to see as time goes on, they're going to fight even harder. They're going to start getting nastier. They're going to start undercutting stuff, because now they're starting to wake up. And you woke up the giants, and they're like, "Wait a minute, we've been around, we've been in control for hundreds of years. You're not just gonna grab it from underneath us." So you're gonna see a lot of nastiness happen.
Oh yeah,
it's bound to happen. Look at this story here. What do you think about this, Jeff? Now, how is it that Jed McCaleb, former Ripple chief tech officer, now it's David Schwartz, selling over 100 million XRP since the beginning of the month? 100 million XRP, and how is he doing that? If there's an ongoing litigation, exchanges are running scared, not being able to, be able to have buyers, clients be able to buy it, right? But here's Jed McCaleb, who is the former chief tech officer of Ripple, one of the original one of the original founders. He's dumping 100 million. Now, Jeff, let me ask you a question. Does he get permission from the SEC to do this? Do you think?
I don't think so, but who knows? Maybe he does have some, deal going on the back end. He's like, hey, I'll kick you guys. I'm gonna kick you guys a little bit over here on the side.
But is he selling an unregistered security? That's what I want to know.
That's a good question.
Security.
Yeah, per the SEC, he would be, and it's shocking, shocking that there hasn't been some big statement to say, hey, this guy's selling a ton. Let's have it stop. But nope. They're just not. They just haven't. They probably won't. And that's the end of it. So what does that say? Does that mean anything? Does that mean that it really isn't? Look at what Toomey was like. It's not a security, and it's not their jurisdiction for the SEC. So what's going on with this? They're not doing anything about it.
No, they're not. And this is the part that you just wonder about, right? Meanwhile, you got somebody dumping this stuff. He has over $500 million of XRP still in his taco stand. What's the name of his wallet? $500 million. Can you even fathom $500 million XRP? I mean, for this community, can you imagine if the XRP family had that much? That's insane. Yeah, right. No comment. No official comment. We can't comment in official capacity. Good one.
Sharpshooter says, doesn't Jed have a court approval on the sales?
He must have something, because remember, he stopped for a little bit when the suit started. He's got to have. And I have to think that he's doing a little bit of jibber jabber in the background, doing a little talking here and there. Like, hey, I'll tell you everything you want to know and cooperate. Just let me get out of this, sell this. I mean, what's he doing with all that jack?
He's selling as a private citizen.
Well, so are we. We're private citizens. We can sell XRP. We can't buy it. So you can sell unregistered securities, right? Apparently, with the, I understand you have to register, but the whole point of it is, where's the clarity and the ability for him to be able to sell it? I don't know. It seems weird. So
yeah, well, that's what happened with Kick, though, Chip. Same thing. They came after Kick and they said $5 million fine, but they really had no resolution on the retail investors at all. No outcome. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, it's kind of bizarro, because he was one of the original founders. No one ever said, hey, you did this. You don't think you think this is the first time he's ever sold it? I mean, you don't think so? Garlinghouse, Larson sell it in 2013. They go after them as founders. Meanwhile, he's dumping it left and right. You don't think that back then in the day he was responsible for buying some of this? Come on, man. I'm having a tough time believing that, Jeff. Come on, for real? You think he was just a guy that was sitting? It's like the SEC. It's like him in. he's one of the most important officials. He's high-ranking official. You can't. And then the next sentence, like, well, what does he know, man? He doesn't really.
Yeah, what does he really know? What did he really do? What does he?
He doesn't know anything.
He had no affiliation. He wasn't a high-ranking SEC official, anyways.
Nah, come on. He doesn't know anything. He's like one of the most incredible officials ever. And he's like, you didn't know anything. Well, why would you? And so this is going to be an interesting hearing tomorrow. We'll comment on it tomorrow. It's going to be, I think it'll be interesting to see kind of how this thing goes down, because I kind of think that at some point we're going to get a little bit more kind of clashing, because right now it's been all kind of common stuff. But now the SEC is always on the ropes, right? You know, they're always sort of one step back, another step behind, where Ripple's punching full-on throat punches. And they're like, yeah, well, we don't want to depose Hinman. They're like, oh, you can't depose Hinman, you know? And it's like, to me, that's an incredible, I don't know, Jeff, the whole thing is kind of wonky, right?
A little bit. But Rob is saying that much XRP puts the gold in the golden parachute.
Yes, it does. That's really well said. It does put the gold in the golden parachute. Everybody wants that kind of golden parachute, right? Am I right? Am I right?
We definitely want it.
So I want to talk a little bit about tomorrow night, Jeff. Thank you. Subscribe, click that notification bell. And I want to talk about tomorrow night. We got a special guest on tomorrow night. We have none other than Jordan Harry. And you guys might know him from crypto Twitter, but I'm going to tell you something, man. He's got almost 3 million views on his TEDx talk. He does. I've actually learned quite a bit from him, so it's going to be really phenomenal to have him on the show. His TED Talk is phenomenal. I think you guys really need to tune in tomorrow for a very special treat. Jordan Harry on the chain. We have him. He's going to talk about accelerated learning and digital assets. So I think he'll show up tomorrow. I think everybody will kind of have a nice takeaway. But guess what? He's also an investor in digital assets. So we'll find out a little bit more about that. And I think it's going to be a really awesome show. But you're not going to want to miss this tomorrow night. We got like a really solid guest. And tomorrow, when you guys show back up, you'll be able to watch his TED Talk. So if you can even Google it, Google Jordan Harry TEDx, and you can look at his TED Talk. I mean, think about that, Jeff. 3 million views nearly on his talk, man.
That's awesome. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Good
it's
stuff.
solid. And so, yeah, we're really honored and privileged tomorrow to have him on there. We'll come on there. We'll do a little bit of laugh and have some fun. And he's been a great sport, because we do it live, and he's over in the UK. And man, it's going to be late for him, just like it's late for all you guys. So he's a guest that's willing to come on at what time is it, Jeff? At like 1 in the morning, or is it midnight?
It's going to be late. They're 5 hours ahead.
Yeah, so there you go. So he's willing to, it's 1 in the morning for him. So we're looking forward to that tomorrow night. It's going to be a great show, guys. Come on back here, retweet our tweet. Let's see how many people we can get back here. I think we're going to learn a lot tomorrow. Have a little bit of fun, talk some crypto and accelerated learning. So it's going to be a good one. You're not going to want to miss this one.
Outstanding. And then there's always this, Chip.
The usual, sir. Please.
The old days, Jeff. Advertising.
The good old days. The good old days.
How about that Foley artist overdoing it with his footsteps?
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
But it is good. Yeah, it'll be fun tomorrow. We'll have a blast. And guys, all come on back here tomorrow. We'll do it all over again. Thursday night. It's gonna be a fun show. We're gonna have some fun.
Awesome.
We want to like like we always say, especially when we have guests on, your questions and your input's really important. You ask stuff in there, throw those questions out there. We'll pose them to Jordan, and it's gonna be a good show tomorrow night. So
it's gonna be awesome.
Subscribe, click that notification bell. There you go.
And by the way, we do stream 6 days a week. So if you're brand new, Sunday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's going to be a blast tomorrow night. Looking forward to having that conversation. And
yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Phenomenal. It's going to be phenomenal.
And the best thing we're going to discuss is the fact that he and I both have 2 first names. That's the first thing we're going to get into, because we both have 2 first names.
That's right.
Jordan Harry could be first name, last name. You know, my full name is even Chip.
And your first name is Chip.
My first name is Chip, so I go by Chip. So it's weird, right? It's a little uncomfortable, but I'll be all right with that. Yeah. So there you go, guys. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow night. Look, really enjoyed hanging out with you guys tonight. Come on back tomorrow. Let's do it all over again. Let's source it.
Let's do it. All right.
Well, it could be. There's always someone that comes in here, like the video starts and it's dislike. Hey, not everyone. Listen, we're like a fine wine or a really good scotch. It's an acquired taste, okay? It's not for everyone. And we realize that
99% of the people like us. There's always that 1%. You know, they're just not connoisseurs.
Yeah, they're not connoisseurs. They don't partake in the fun. What are you going to say?
But maybe they do. At least they come in here and say, "Hey."
They never miss contributing to that. It's they subscribe just like you click that the thumbs down, right?
That's it. So awesome. All right, so we'll see you guys on
the next one. Take care.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.